What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Lakeshow Talk Show. With you always, my name's Dominic. That's Josie. That's Briss. About to get into it with the recap of the Jordan docuseries, episodes 7 and 8. Briss, let's start with you, man. What was your big take from those two episodes last Sunday?
Hey, man, you know what? These episodes showed us a lot about Jordan. And you know what? I'm going to be out here and saying one of the probably the craziest things out here for most people, especially you two guys. But for me, Jordan just showed that he's one of the greatest teammates out there. I'm going to just say it right now. He showed greatness. He drove in greatness out of his teammates, and he succeeded at greatness. I mean, what else more could you want from a teammate, right? You can't be the nice guy all the time. Nice guys do not win trophies. I'm sorry, but it's not. Most of the time, the greatest of the greats do not get a trophy if they're too nice. You've got to drive and find greatness for your teammates and for the people that you love. And that's what he did. He cared for those people and found greatness for them. But it was called tough love. Who wants to take the floor now?
Hey, you know what? Well, sometimes fun guys win championships. Am I right?
Fun, but not nice.
Kawhi Leonard? No, anyways, no, let me get into this. To me, I felt like just mainly his teammates were just afraid to piss him off. You know what I mean? Like they just like they don't need Jordan to give them that kind of push. They're professional athletes already. You know, they're like when Jordan came into after his first retirement and saying these guys are just joke around, this and that. Well, I mean, you could get them in line at going about it in a different way. To me, all those two episodes highlighted was just how much of a bully Jordan was. Like, you don't need to talk down to a person that way or cuss at them in such a way or bully them the whole time during practices or whatever. And so to me, what's his name? Scott Burrell, they talked about him too. Like, he had great composure. And then when they got into it with Steve Kerr and the whole punch, like, that was just petty stuff from Jordan. Like, he was really just upset at Phil Jackson for calling those, like, you know, dumb fouls or whatever. So you're going to take your aggression and anger out on Steve Kerr when all he's doing is just doing his job to, you know, be competitive in practice. So when you come at it like that and he just like kind of gives you a punch in the chest or whatever, and you go and deck him in the face. Like, dude, like, I mean, I don't know if it happened, but he should have got fined for that, I think. But Jordan's attitude, I mean, I guess you can say it was great because they won 6 chips. I don't know, but I don't think that really played a big factor on his teammates, them getting pushed a certain way, even though some of them came out and did say they did. Like, it helped them get pushed that way. I think there was a better way to go about it. To me, I think there's other great leaders and roles who can lead their team in a different manner than what Jordan did. I felt like he was way too aggressive and being too much of a bully. I think all the players were just they said it in the docuseries, they were scared. They were scared of him. Some of them were like, I think they were just so scared they didn't want to piss him off. And I get, like, you know, he leads with example. Like, yeah, that was a great motivator right there. Everybody wants to be just as great as him. But to me, it was just too much. It was too much of him just like going at you, cussing at you, and saying a whole bunch of stuff, just pretty much tearing you down. Like, I want to handle that.
All I'm going to say is, at the end of episode 7, what did we hear? We heard, if you didn't want to be a part of that culture, or not necessarily part of that culture, but if you didn't want to do the things that he said you had to do, he's okay with it. But unless you're in that team or you're in that environment, you don't know what they had to go through to succeed, to win, because he cared for those people. I felt that.
Right.
I felt that.
But go ahead.
No, I want to hear your point, because let's go for it.
No, but I don't necessarily like give the credit to Jordan, you know, being rough on his team like that. Like, no, like, it was great coaching. You know, obviously it's a coach's job to understand personnel and put it together and make it work. That was great by Phil Jackson. And everyone talks down on Krause, but I give Krause huge credit for putting all these pieces and players in play for them to win a championship. Like, Jordan's talking about his leadership, and it was really him elevating all his players to his level. When to me, I think it was the other guys.
Are you guys done?
Go ahead. You've been a little quiet.
Guys, what are we talking about? Briss, what are we talking about? You're bringing up greatest teammate ever.
Yes.
When was that ever a category? When does someone ever talk about greatest teammate ever? Get out of here. We're not talking about that. Um,
Wait, what's your take? I want to hear your take.
we're talking about greatest teammate ever.
Well, it was a big
Look up.
part in the last 2 episodes though. Like
But-
they talked about Jordan as a teammate, Jordan as a leader.
Yeah, you know what? My take on this is that I think this documentary, seeing episodes 5 and 6, I think you and I agreed, Dom, on the last episode of our show that it kind of made us look at Michael in a different way, like in a negative light, per se, right? Like,
Hey, real quick, Josie, real quick. Do you think that's why Jordan got emotional at the end of this episode 8, and why he was getting teary-eyed talking about him being as a teammate? Or I think to me it felt like he's noticed, he knows that other people are gonna see him in a different light now.
yeah. So my point being, and it kind of relates to what you guys were talking about. My point being is that I think episode 5 and 6 kind of showcased MJ in a negative light. And we felt that way, right? Like, oh, like he was bullying Kraus, the gambling, like the other things that were going on, right? The excessive betting with golf, his lack of motivation for activism and the Black community. And I think, honestly, on my side, I kind of have to, I guess I'm kind of agreeing with Briss a little bit. But I think this is why I think the documentary did a great job of showing us like that negative side of Mike first in those last 2 episodes, or the previous 2 episodes before these last 2, and then in these last 2 episodes, episodes 7 and 8, it kind of was a comeback for Mike, both metaphorically and literally, because it went back from him leaving the NBA to coming back to the NBA and winning winning 3 other chips in that second three-peat. Obviously, yeah, it showed that side that he was still hard on teammates, but I think the documentary painted it in such a way that it made MJ look good at the end of the day. And seeing what he went through with his dad and just the work he was putting in, the emotional tears at the end of the 7th episode, I think it leaves MJ standing in a much better place than it had after episodes 5 and 6. MJ definitely motivated his teammates. Whether the tactics he used were good or not good, that is a matter of debate. I'm more in line with you, Dom, that I think he could have approached that in a different way. But his way was effective. But I don't think he was the only leader in that team. So this is where I disagree with Briss, is that I think that, Phil deserves much, much more credit than he gets. Pippen deserves much more credit than he gets. Even though on this episode, on these last 2 episodes, we get a negative take on Pippen, but we can discuss that later. Kraus, like you said, I'm very pro Kraus.
Yeah, same.
The man had flaws and he messed up, and maybe greed and tension got in his way towards the end of it. But without Kraus and that vision he had, we wouldn't be talking about all of this. MJ would have still been a stud, maybe in another team, but without an organization and a structure like that, I don't know that he wins that many chips. Because you need other guys. He could have just been just another great scorer somewhere.
Agreed.
So let's put it like this. I know we're thinking the hypothetical of Jordan, the greatest teammate ever, blah, blah, but let me put it like this. Just a hypothetical. You have 2 guys, 2 leaders, right? Out of the 2, you have to choose one. We'll go with A. A is one of the guys that off the court, it's probably one of the most, I'd say, to himself, more introvert, but on the court, he's one of the guys that will get it done day in, day out, and will push you, not in the nicest way, but you'll get greatness. The second one, person B, is a guy, you end up with a pretty good season, right? You lead your guys in a more, I'd say, player approach, right? A player coach or a player's player, in fact, right? A guy that's looking to be kind of the nice guy or the easier, but will still put his foot down, but not as hard. but then won't sufficiently get you to the promised line? Which one would you rather have?
Don't beat around the bush. Who are you talking about? You talking about any specific players here?
I think you guys know who I'm talking
It
about.
kind of sounds like it.
Mic?
Huh?
Why are you hiding behind your mic?
I'm not hiding. Oh, I'm not hiding. I mean, I almost broke it right now. But I'm not hiding behind my mic. You know exactly who I'm talking about.
Then why can't you say his name?
Michael
His or
Jordan.
her name?
Hey, Michael Jordan's player A. Scottie Pippen's player B. Who would you rather have in the go time?
That's
Well,
not.
it's obvious. You rather have Michael Jordan.
That's not who I thought he was talking about.
That's not who I thought you were talking about either. But you can't just talk about Pippen. Pippen only had 1 year really to do it by himself, and he didn't really have the option to do it by himself, which we'll get into in a little bit. But to me, I mean, yeah, Mike, he got those 6 rings, but I just don't think it was all highlighted on him that he got the whole team to that level of greatness. Like I also think they're leaving a lot out from Phil Jackson. I think Phil Jackson had a lot to play in that as well, which that's a coach's job. You know what I mean? And they're professional athletes already too. Like, they know what they got to come in and do. They know the work they have to get done. And yeah, there was some new guys, like they had to get into championship material, which they learned. But
Yeah, but honestly, let's move on because we're talking about the greatest teammate ever. Let's go. Let's move.
Man,
okay.
we're in the
Well, why
middle.
don't we talk about? Let's talk about Pippen real quick.
Yeah, let's talk about Pippen. So she brought up Pippen. Let's bring in Pippen now. So in the year 93, 94 season, obviously we know Pippen elevated to a great stardom. Josie, why don't you take this part on how the docuseries highlighted that in Pippen's eyes?
Yeah, I mean, the docuseries really leaves it up to the viewer. I think the way that that they showed what happened in that game, it was down to like a last second shot, and I think what Phil's mentality is that hey, they're gonna expect Pippen to take it. Maybe they'll double Pippen or something, and so he drew up a play where Kukoc would take the last shot. And he had already done that throughout the season a couple of times, and he had made some of them. Right? We've seen that he had made some of them. And Phil just thought it was best that he take it rather than Pippen take it. And at that point in time, it was Pippen's team. But I mean, this is a guy that was always considered a team player, right? Before this, so I mean, it shows us how his teammates responded to that. Like they felt like Pippen quit on him, quit on them. I mean, Kukoc was like, he had to take the shot, and they made the shot, and they won. I think it's complicated. I see that was Pippen's year. I see how he felt, but I still think that it was wrong for him to sit out that play. Yeah. What do you think, Briss?
For me, I'm telling you, like, it's an event that we're talking about this play where Kukoc got the ball and made the last minute bucket, right? I think people don't want to say like, oh, that's a one moment thing. Honestly, when the bright lights are on you, the spotlight's on you, and you're the man for that team, and you're being asked to let the bucket go to another player who has made it the entire season, and you say no, I'm gonna have a fit and sit on the sideline. I think that's just a dismissal and it shows some bad character. Like for me, that's a bad character thing. When the spotlight's on you and you want to make a choice, and you make the wrong choice. I mean, we understand you're the top player of the team, but right, it's a team sport. Right? You have your clutch shooters, you have your guys in the box, you have your guys that will hit mid range, especially during that era, and your coach is drawing up a play, and you're not the guy for that moment, and you say, "Oh, I'm not going in." For me, that's soft. I'm sorry. And you know what? This is a speculation out of craziness, but maybe that's why in the last season, that could play into why he didn't get a payday. You know what I mean? earlier events can lead into later things. And for me, that could be a reason why I'm not giving you 4 or 5 million more, in my
That
opinion.
was his last year on contract. Was it the 94, 93?
Yes, I believe so.
Oh, no. You mean
The 98
you
season.
mean going up until the 98? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, no. Let me take my take on this. I think it was unprofessional for him not to do that. You know, even if whatever disagreements he had with Phil's decision, I still think as a professional athlete, you know, that's your job. You still have a responsibility to go out there and do your job. But I also, I also feel for his emotions he had. I mean, that year, it was Pippen's year. Pippen was the star. Phil said it. And when crunch time comes down, you want the ball for game-winning shots in the start of your hands. The Lakers, they had, who wanted the ball? Kobe. Cavs, who wanted the ball? Who'd you put the ball in? LeBron's hands. Warriors, you gave it to Steph Curry, last-second shots. I thought Phil should have gave Pippen this opportunity even throughout the season. And Pippen, I think he should have spoke his mind throughout the season when they drew up these plays for Tony Kukoc in season to hit these game-winning shots or whatever, last-second shots. I think he should have spoken his mind then. But I can understand how that, and that was his mistake. I understand how he did it too late. He did it like in playoff time when it all mattered. He smoked his mind and he sat out. But it was Pippen's team and it was his time to shine. And Kukoc only started, I think, like I looked this up. He only started like 8 games throughout the regular season. Yeah, he played a lot, but I mean, he only averaged like 10 points a game. Pippen was averaging like 22 points a game throughout the season. I mean, it was Pippen's team. Phil should have put Pippen in that spotlight to step up even further as the all-star he became throughout that season when Jordan left. He should have been elevated even more if Phil would have put him in those crunch time moments, taking the last second shots. And maybe there'd be a bigger story to Scottie Pippen nowadays. But I mean, I could feel for his emotions that he felt, but I do think it was unprofessional of what he did, though. He should have just went out there and did the play.
I see what you're saying. I think, and I agree with you to some extent. That Pippen was never given the opportunity to fully take on the team. Like you said, hit or miss, he should have taken the shots, right? Phil should have given him that opportunity to take the shot, like hit or miss. But you're right, and this is where we see like that character flaw in Pippen, a recurring character flaw in Pippen, and that's that. And this is where Briss is kind of correct. Is that Pippen, to the dismay of us, was maybe a little too nice. He didn't speak up for himself and wanting to take the last second shots. When Jordan was gone, and he didn't believe enough in himself to take a shorter contract, right? That cost him more money. He took a longer deal, a safer deal. So I think this is where we see those character flaws in Pippen, if you would call him that.
Right. No, yeah, I understand. I mean, Phil, I still think Phil should have, kind of pushed Pippen more to become that. Obviously, Pippen didn't really want it as bad as he should have because, at the end of the day, they said Pippen became like a facilitator on the court. And keep in mind, you have Horace Grant, B.J. Armstrong stepping up now. He became an all-star that year. So, and Pippen even said, too, there was no one man of a leader really on there. We all kind of worked together as a team. I mean, Pippen should have really stepped up and took over. Yeah. But, I thought Phil should have pushed him to that level, too, as well.
Yeah. Okay, and see, this is where I guess we have to give credit to Briss is that maybe Pippen didn't have that mentality, that killer mentality, right? That Jordan or that Mamba mentality that Kobe had. And there's just some guys that are great number twos. And Pippen might be the greatest number two ever. He might be the greatest number two player ever in a team. But it's just that mentality, right? Like Dennis Rodman, one of the greatest defenders ever, like for the role that he has. But it's different. It's different when you're the CEO. It's different when you're the president. Yeah.
Yeah. You got a final take on this, Briss?
Let me put it into recreational terms for the people out there that like recreational basketball. Hear me out. I see you guys' faces. Right?
Talking about talking about greatest teammates ever, and now you're talking about recreational ball.
No, hold on. This is making my point. Let me finish. Okay. Let's say you're in a pickup game for basketball, right? I'm on one of the teams. I'm in the role of coach, right? Everybody in the world knows I cannot shoot a basketball. Let's say somebody draws up a play and somehow I make it at the end, but the person that's been making it the entire time gets mad because I make that last bucket.
No, but Kukoc can make shots. It's not
Yeah.
like he's not a good shooter.
Yeah,
No,
Kukoc
I'm
makes
just
shots.
comparing myself. I'm just comparing myself.
You're not Kukoc.
No, I know. I'm not even the last guy in the league. You guys know this for a fact. But the point is, you have to trust your teammates if you're the leader. Do you guys get that point?
Yeah.
No, I get that, but to me, when it's crunch time, it's game time, it's making the last shot to win the game. You know, the leader is supposed to be the one taking that shot. Obviously, you earn that respect from your teammates too. They all trust you. They all kind of want the ball in your hands.
I think it's on a case by case basis, and I think the person that does this the best is Sir LeBron James.
Okay.
You know, he's made plenty of game winners. Even though you guys don't believe it, go look at it. He's made
No,
plenty.
I believe it,
you know
but
what? No. I'm let me finish. Now I have to contradict you here. Is that LeBron does trust his teammates, or he sees the better final shot, and it's not his shot sometimes. Sometimes it was somebody else. He could see that, and he wasn't selfish. He was like about it.
And he should be selfish.
No, I get that. He had the mentality. He understood his, like with Kyrie Irving. He understood Kyrie was a better shooter. So in some instances, I think Kyrie took that last shot against Curry. I don't know if you remember the 3-pointer. One of those big time shots. He understood that.
Yeah.
Obviously, he didn't understand J.R. Smith's mentality when he messed up. But I understand. LeBron James on the court, he was a great mind to be on there for control, being the coach on the court for the last minute shots. And he took them too. He was confident in taking them as well.
Yeah. It's just understanding the situation. But yeah, but I guess that's where Pippen, didn't have that mentality. I think maybe he felt frustration that he did want that moment. He did want it to be his team, but he also wasn't willing to speak up.
Yeah, and I guess it was messed up. He should have spoke up in the season rather than making a statement in playoff time, when it mattered. Like, if you would have spoke up in the season, you would have took those shots, you would have missed them then you would have understood, okay, yeah, I guess Tony's going to take those game-winning shots or whatever. Or you would practice them and make them the next time. I don't know.
But let me put it like this, guys, right? They're playing the triangle system, right? What is the key to the triangle system? Give it to the open man, no matter what, on each play, right?
Right, but not on the last play of the game when there's like 5 seconds left.
Huh?
They drew up the play for Kukoc. He could have drawn up the play for Pippen.
No, yeah, this wasn't a triangle offense form because this was like, couple seconds left of the game and you're going to take the last shot. So it's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah, let me put it like this way in the whack-a-foul terms that you understand. It was like a special teams play, a trick special teams play.
The whack-a-foul.
All right, hey, let's get into what were you guys' thoughts? Josie, let's start with you. What were your thoughts on MJ pretty much laughing at the fact of Gary Payton said he shut him down when he went on to guard him?
Yeah, and that was funny. I chuckled a little bit. I won't deny it. The man just laughed at that man. But you know what? I think MJ had a point. He just wasn't feeling it in those games. His mind was elsewhere. It was he had just gone back. His dad wasn't there anymore. His mind just wasn't in it, and I think so. I don't know that I don't think it was Peyton per se that was stopping him. I think sometimes players know when it's themselves. He wasn't worried about it. then, and I don't think he was worried about it. He obviously wasn't worried about it now because he just laughed at it. Gary Payton is not at the level that MJ is. We just got to be honest. So I think it was disrespectful, but I think he backed it up.
Briss, it wasn't disrespectful?
No, stop it. Y'all soft. Y'all soft. You gotta look at the era they came from. Stop it. That is the most amazing thing I've seen from a guy that shows nothing but greatness in all his life. This man has a company.
Life?
Yeah, this guy has a multi-billion-dollar company. This guy is known as the greatest player of all time. This guy can live and do whatever he wants now in retirement.
He has one of the worst NBA franchises that he runs.
Literally, he can do whatever he wants. He can run a team and it could suck. He doesn't care. He did his job.
I know, but just to be fair, you said greatest, and that's probably one of his only flaws right there.
Wait.
What about the gambling?
Wait, how many people can buy a team and just let them do whatever they want? That's greatness. That's a boss move.
But it's not a successful team, though.
Not a successful team.
No, listen to what I'm saying.
I think this is where MJ needs to, understand the quality of Jerry Krause at the time.
No.
Because he's trying to do Jerry Krause's job, and he's failing at it badly.
Let me put it like this. That man literally looked another man in the face, said, barbecue chicken. You didn't do any work on me. I was sick. I was not in the mood. I gave you the business. I'm laughing at you now, 20 years later. Go home. Feel great about yourself in the interview, and I'll laugh at you on a little tablet that I own after this documentary that's about me, let's be honest, and give you the business. That's it. You got the business. There's no disrespect. That is the most savage move I've ever seen. And that is why you guys are reacting the way you are.
Mm-mm.
No, it's true.
No, you know what? To me, it was just Jordan he's confident in his game, right? And he's looking back at it and said, no, that wasn't the reason why. Dude, just man up. Just man up and say, yeah, Gary Payton got me. Because if it was effective, like other issues were affecting you, then dude, why didn't you close it out? They clearly weren't affecting you games 1, 2, and 3, but now all of a sudden it affected you games 4, 5, and 6. And it's just like the year before when they went to the conference finals and they lost the Magic, and he said, well, I wasn't basketball body, I had a baseball body. You're just making excuses, bro.
Hey, for real, huh? Hey, I have to comment here, is that I think he was making an excuse.
Yes.
You know what? Because he in the 5th game he got back, he scored 55 points. Okay. In the 5th game he was back, he scored 55. And then they go into playoffs later. Later they go into playoffs. And you're telling me already? Yeah, he still played like 20 games that season.
No, yeah. Just own up, man up. I mean,
no,
going back to
I'm
the
going to be
finals,
the police major that is defending this man, because I will tell you what, baseball shape and basketball shape are two different human beings. The development is different. If you give it off a year, it's a whole different body set, right? I'm going to get technical right now. You guys are probably going to get lost, and a lot of viewers are too. But you're using different energy systems that they change and they suck. And if you don't use them in the right areas because you've trained them in a certain way, you cannot go do what you need to do.
But he had plenty of games leading to the playoffs where he was fine.
I get that. But he played all the way up to the Western Conference Finals.
It takes months, guys. Almost half a year. I'm not kidding you. That's why when I saw that, I saw a lot of people were going to give a criticism. But the people that know, it takes a long time to develop somebody from one sport to another. That trainer was probably working his ass off day in, day out to try and do it. And honestly, I really want to see if that guy has a book or something to talk about it, and probably read it. Because that's
okay. But fast forward to the next year when he's playing Gary Payton. Gary Payton, games 1, 2, and 3, Gordon's doing great. Game 4, Jordan doesn't have a great game.
Yeah,
Payton outplays them. Game 5, Jordan shoots above 500. And then game 6, when they closed it out, Jordan didn't have a great game that game either. And he only put up as many points because he went to the free throw line at least 10 times every single game.
But come on, Briss. Look, the guy has a great playoffs leading up to that, and even in that series, he had the first 3 games were stellar. And you're saying Game 4 is different from one game to another. It's gonna drop that much. Where he was performing throughout the season, except for right when he came back. But 5th game he scores 55. Then he still goes on a tear.
Hey.
He goes on a tear the rest of the season. He goes on a tear almost throughout playoffs. And then the first 3 games of the finals, he's fine. In that 4th game, he's not. And you're attributing that to this change in body composition? No, that's a bullshit excuse. Excuse my language. I think that's an excuse. He had to own up. He lost.
Okay, he lost. Now back to your Gary Payton thing. Let me just tell you what type of guy we've been talking about, right? A guy that makes his own motivation to beat other people, right? A guy that says, I forgot the guy's name. I believe it's Smith from the Rockets or Washington Bullets, I believe. Sorry. Who said, good game, the myth of the good game.
Oh, BJ's teammate, BJ Armstrong's teammate.
Yes. Right? How simple is that? To go the next game and give that guy the business. Wouldn't you think if you heard that Father's Day could land on the finals?
Whoa, hold on. So you're saying, so you want to tell me Jordan just blew those 2 games on purpose so he can win the finals on Father's Day?
Hey, I
Is that what you're trying to say?
I consider that too.
Hey.
That goes into my gambling conspiracy.
Hey.
Did he make money off those 2 games?
Hey, for real.
No, hold on. Let's get out of your gambling conspiracy because that wasn't a thing. Anyways.
Yeah, clean it up. What you got?
I think just like that guy. If I knew that, I'd be like, I'm gonna let the guy get a couple buckets, feed him a little bit. Don't beat him up too hard. Give him a couple games. And then when I want him.
No, but that was never Jordan's mentality though. He came in every single game.
Are you sure?
To win.
Are you sure?
He said that. He said every single time he was on the court, he came to play.
Yeah,
he wouldn't blow games like that.
That'd be going against the mindset that you think Jordan has.
Right.
He's a killer.
Oh, you want to show you're the greatest ever, right? Why not let the greatest trash talker talk trash first?
No.
And you shut him up.
No. If he's the greatest ever, he'd wanna sweep somebody in the finals. He would sweep them.
Hey, why not make it exciting for everybody? Why not get a storyline behind it? You want to be known as one of the greatest. Why not get a storyline behind it, right?
Right. Yeah, but right now you're contradicting your opinions on Jordan's mindset.
Let me tell you guys. I have the same exact mindset as this guy. We're built different. All right? We're built different.
Wait.
Stop. Just stop.
We're built different. All right?
Stop. You don't have the same mindset.
You guys don't understand the level that we think at. All right? We're built different. We're built for greatness. All right? I'm telling you, I'm different. There's a reason. Hold
up. This is a sports talk show podcast. This is not a brisk elevation.
All right, guys. You know what? Let's agree to disagree on the whole Gary Payton shenanigans. Any last takes you guys got on these Jordan series?
I mean, for all the younger generation out there, these 2 episodes should have changed your mind of who is the greatest player of all time, or at least make you debate a little bit harder. Can we agree on that?
Yeah,
I
could agree on that. Yeah, I mean, definitely. There's a lot of things we didn't touch on, but I think you could definitely see, Mike's greatness in these last 2 episodes at different times. So yeah, definitely. I think there's more debate, and MJ still has an edge. Yeah. But
so
transition a little bit. We're talking about the past. Why don't we talk a little bit about the present?
No, yeah, let's switch it up. Let's switch it up to today's news, guys. So NBA is trying to come back. You know what I mean? Josie, start it off, dude. What you think on their thoughts of the NBA, Adam Silver, owners, players, voting, polls, whatever?
Yeah. I mean, like the players union, and I think they sent out a text to see how the players feel about returning. There's about 400 NBA players out there. They send a text out to see the feel of the players, if they want to come back and play or not. There's obviously some guys that really want to come back and play. LeBron being one of the most vocal about wanting to come back and play, especially before this hiatus happened. Hopefully it's a hiatus and they go back and play. They had just beat the Clips and they had just beat the Bucks. So he feels like he can go win a chip again, especially with all this MJ talk, and there's that rivalry between them. In terms of the greatest player, he's motivated right now. He's ready to go. So it'd be really exciting to see if they come back and they can win a chip. The Bucks, obviously want to come back. They're leading the conference in the East. Antetokounmpo is coming off of MVP and a possible MVP this year. So he wants to prove himself. He wants to be able to make it to the finals. Kawhi's in that race also to be the first player to win 3 chips with 3 different teams. So they're still in there. There's obviously some guys that probably prefer this season not come back, like KD. KD's hurt. So
Not gonna come back.
there's talks about him coming back. I'm sure he doesn't care if the season comes back or not. Clay could probably use more rest.
Yeah, you know what, KD, I picked him up in my fantasy league, our fantasy league, just in case. Fingers crossed.
Case.
Not coming back.
Yeah. There's some guys that probably want to forget about this season, like Kyrie. So there's definitely guys, out there that
Hey, but actually Brooklyn's if it comes back, they're in the playoffs right now.
No, I know. But this is a forgettable season for Kyrie. I don't think this season, if you look at the numbers and look at the games, he wasn't the best player on that team this season. I feel like Spencer.
He went down a lot too.
Spencer Dinwiddie has an argument for like the best player on Brooklyn this past season. So I think I'm just saying that there's some guys out there that could be okay forgetting about this season and then not coming to a completion. I hopefully they resume it, but we'll see. What's your take,
Briss?
All right, I'm gonna give the average general person's response. We bored out of our mind. I want live sports. Like Hulu, you get live sports.
Like EA?
Huh?
Like EA? Live sports?
That too. I want live sports. We are bored out of the hell of our lives. And we need something to do. Like, UFC is great coming back. I love it. But let's be honest. We want to see the intense NBA playoffs. We want to see the end of the season grind. Who gets in? Who gets left out on the last day? But all sports are coming back or plan to come back. I know soccer is for sure. At least by end of June or early July.
Yeah. But yeah, so you like to see it come back. How about you, Dom?
No, so I'm gonna put it like this. The UFCs came back. They got their testing out. Obviously, the next one who I think should come back is the NBA. Unlike football, they don't have as many players. The NBA is a little bit smaller. As a team sport, they can come back. But ultimately, I think it's the decision comes down to Adam Silver. I don't think it should be put in the hands of the players or the owners or whatever. I think, the owners can help out too as well. The players, it's your job to go out there and play if everything comes to safety precautions are taken care of. So I don't think players who aren't going to make the playoffs or aren't close to it or can have a say and say, you know what, I just want to scrap this season. Well, that's not fair to the players who want to win this chip. So LeBron James, who has this motivation now for Kobe to want to do it for LA and wants to go out there and win a chip, who I think they were going to win the chip this year if it comes back. To me, I don't care how long it takes. I don't care if you have to push back next season a little bit, cut some games down. I think you already started it. You got to finish it. I don't think you can just scrap it how it is. I think you come back, you make sure everything's precautioned safely for the NBA to come back. Don't matter how long it takes, start the process, start getting it going now, though. Let's get those tests out there. Let's get everybody on an island or a few cities here and there. Let's get these games going. But it comes down to, Adam Silver is one of the best commissioners of all time. And I think he's going to make a great decision on bringing it back. I don't think it's going to cancel. I don't think we can see this canceling because that's just erasing all that has happened this year, which I think is totally unfair. I think if anything, you push back next year, cut the games down to maybe 50 or so, you know. But I mean, we see that with the MLB happening right now. They cut their games like in half, I think. So I mean, why can't the NBA do the same thing as well? But I don't think you just cut it out. I think everybody still wants to play and finish out this year. I think it's be unfair to cancel it.
Yeah.
Let me just put it like this. These guys got how much millions of dollars? The UFC has how much millions of dollars less than the NBA? There's got to be some way to get these guys all in a secure location, tested, and be able to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, these guys are talking about, I mean, for most NBA players, they've been in their house quarantined for as long. So if they have had it,
Right.
most of them have already been cleared, or all of them have been cleared. So there has to be some way. I don't know how they're going to do it. I know Disneyland's been in the talks. That'd be pretty fun.
Right. No, yeah, because I mean, it's obviously a bigger number. UFC, you have individual fighters, and then they're doing just like their coaches on the side or whatever. And the NBA, you got a full team plus coaches, and there's like 30 teams or whatever. And then you also got to consider some of them want to have their families with them. And then what's the NBA going to say to that? I don't think Adam Silver is going to say no. That you have to be away from your family for months and months of the time. I think they're also going to have to get tests for their intermediate families as well. So it's a lot of tests that are going to have to come out into play. A lot more money, a lot more hotels they're going to have to book, and to quarantine all these players, all these teams. It's going to be a big thing.
Yeah, no, it all sounds really complicated. It's really complex. Hopefully we hear back within the next couple weeks, and hopefully they figure a way to bring the season. It sounds like we're all in agreement of wanting the season back, and hopefully the NBA is able to do that. But I think that's a wrap, guys. I mean,
one last thing. We know we all three want the NBA to come back, right? Because we got a fantasy league going.
That's right. I need my money.
Everybody.
That's right, dude.
Everybody needs their money, man. That's my last comment.
All right, then. All right, we'll see you guys next time.
All right, guys, go ahead and like, subscribe, leave some comments. We got to cover, episodes. The last Jordan series is coming to an end this Sunday. We're going to cover it. We're going to come in and talk about it. We'll probably do a wrap up the whole series in general. But go ahead and like this video, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.